Okay, this video is going to be about the open feet climbing drill, or what I call the finger limit session. The objective with this drill is to put more time under tension on each hand and control the force vectors of the actual holds that we're using. Another thing that this drill is useful for is reducing the velocity that we make between each move. And so you want to keep the hand moves relatively close together. If we choose a new path up the wall every time we climb to the top, we use more hold variety on the wall, but we also use different body positions. By opening the feet, we're going to use bigger feet. We're going to allow more time under tension on smaller holds. If you're a performance client and you're using this particular intervention, you're going to want to use small holds. So you can practice grabbing onto those small holds, but you can also increase the time under tension on those holds, which is essentially making your board work like a fingerboarding protocol. If you're a rehabilitation client, you're going to start with bigger edges, and the objective there is to spend more time under tension on every single hold so we can get that 30 to 45 seconds of total time by the time we get to the top of the wall. One thing that you're going to want to note, generally I have people use good performance shoes. I'm wearing a pair of slippers that I use as my gym climbing shoes. But if you're trying to do this in a rehab context, you would want to use your normal gym climbing shoes to make sure, because these shoes are not good for small feet, slipping off a foot. But we're going to be using larger feet as a general rule. So I'm going to give you an example of how we could do this on a spray wall. Works very well. You could do this really well on a kilter board, a moon board, a tension board. And remember, what we need to do is we need to take away the specific problems that people set, because those specific problems have generally more power output than we're looking for with this particular exercise. This exercise is all about lots of time under tension, repositioning your body so we can optimize the direction of the force for each hold, and then getting a long time under tension up the wall. Generally speaking, when you do this, if you've been climbing on a board of this distance or of whatever size you're used to climbing on, you'll get more tired, you'll feel like more respiratory demand, and you'll get a little pumped when you get to the top of the wall. Generally speaking, that's good for cross-sectional area and strength gains in your muscles, okay? So I'm probably not going to be able to talk while I do this, so we're going to start from the bottom, going to pick a path up the wall, and then you can get a better example of how we would do it. So as you can see, no big jumpy moves, trying to keep the velocity low. The larger the concentration of holds on the wall, the better, because then you can pick more holds closer together. And if you're doing this from a rehab context and you don't make it to the top of the wall, start using bigger holds partway through. In that example, I used that pink hold up there, which is pretty good because my forearms and my fingers were feeling tired. So eventually, what you'll notice is the ability to tolerate more smaller edges for the entire duration. But you can tell how challenging that was, different than a normal board session where the movements are very powerful and the total time it takes to get to the top is much lower. So hopefully that helps give you a better understanding of what we're referring to when we use open feet climbing or the finger limit session.